All right. Hi, everybody. Happy Saturday, everyone. As you can see, we're dual streaming with Debt Free Dad and TXC Tells All. So hopefully we got people from both sides that are going to join us tonight. But if you're new to the channel, I'm Larita with TXC Tells All. I'm an attorney. And you want to introduce yourself?
I'm Marcus, the Debt Free Dad. Finances, attorney reactions, and definitely not as well dressed as my co-counsel today.
You have to fake it from the top up. Gotta fake it. Right. But yeah, so we wanted to do a dual stream on this issue. This is DA Fani Willis and the whole Trump disqualification case that's been going on in Fulton County, Georgia. Both Marcus and I did reaction videos to this topic, and there was quite a bit of interest in the topic for many reasons. And so we're going to follow up today because we had a recent ruling on the issue that specifically identified Fani Willis and Special Prosecutor Nathan Wade and whether they were qualified or not qualified to continue with this prosecution of the case. So that came out as yesterday afternoon. So we're going to do our reactions to it, and then we'll kind of get into the details of it. But if you are hopping in on the channel and you're new to either Debt Free Dad or TXC, make sure you hit the thumbs up button, subscribe to our channels. Debt Free Dad talks about a lot of stuff. I'll let him introduce his stuff, but we at TXC Tells All, we talk about a plethora of things: veterans benefits, personal finance, lawyer reactions, a lot of things on our channel. So Marcus, you want to just explain?
Yeah, over my channel, we just always try to keep it in the context of money, but a lot of times some hilarious stories are up for discussion, and they have some impact. Everything got something to do with money, so I always got a lot of shit to talk about. I'm sorry.
This is TXC Tells All.
Okay. I keep forgetting. I like to drop.
We are rated G on this channel.
YouTube. Just demonetize me, not her. Sorry, I apologize.
Yeah, so we're gonna get into it. Thank you, Marcus, for agreeing to stream. So I want to run a poll on the channel for anybody that's watching. If you're watching now, comment in the comment section. Let me know where you're watching from. Shout it out. If you're on the replay gang, hashtag replay gang, let me know where you're watching from. But do you think Fani Willis should have resigned instead of Special Prosecutor Nathan Wade? Because it kind of was up to the ruling was the judge says, okay, yes, there was some impropriety of conflict of interest. Either she goes or he goes, right? That was the option, and Nathan Wade ended up going. But do you think Fani Willis should have resided? I'm going to go to the comment section of the video I did just last Sunday, so less than a week ago, and let you see what the comment section was talking about, because they were talking. And if you're watching this on your phone, I find it more convenient to turn your phone to the side, to sideways, because you can see it a little more clearly when I do a screen share. So let me show you. Hopefully you can see as I'm screen sharing. This is the video I did last Sunday, and these are the comments, right? So I wanted to pin this comment. Rock Like What says, here's my prediction for the outcome of the case. I believe that Judge McAfee won't have the balls to do the right thing, and he will allow Fani Willis to stay on the case while removing Anthony Wade.
Shout out to him. Shout out to him before you.
He came back and says my prediction was right on the money. Okay, so we're gonna pin his comment. I said we'll see what happens. People say she needs to be in jail. Fulton County is now a laughing stock. We need Trump back. Somebody said this is still a massive conflict of interest. It's inappropriate to sign your boyfriend's invoices. Willis and Wade need 50 years in prison. Her reputation is tainted regardless. I think they're all gaslighting us for real. So, Rock Like White, like what also said, my perspective appears to be influenced by a strong bias, so much so that Stevie Wonder can see it. It seems that you might be leaning towards a particular viewpoint, political viewpoint. If Fani and Nathan were white Republicans, I suspect your interpretation of their actions might be quite different. Okay, so they had a lot to say about this. Marcus, you want to share kind of for my view on TXC what they didn't see your reaction to, but what did you think about the situation before we kind of get into whether who should have resigned and what ended up happening with this case? Because I think I had a definite different view from you. So I'm interested to hear what you had to say, like in the Cliff Notes version of it.
The Cliff Note versions of is after the first day, I knew that they both were up there just capping away. They were up there. Hold on, let me break out my They were up there. It was a lot of capping going on. I've been doing this thing for 14 years now. I've been defense attorney. I prosecuted at some great places. Yeah, I know a fabrication and BS. Like, you paid everything in cash. Really? The story was just capped to me. It wasn't a criminal trial, so I'm a little confused when we get into the judge ruling. His ruling kind of confused me because it was really just kind of looking at conduct, and they talk about, oh, it wasn't enough evidence, but the standard is lowered. So I was a little confused by that, but
okay,
I thought that one, he was probably not qualified to do it in the first place. Let's just keep it a buck. I mean, from his background, like, bro, I don't know. I could have swore I heard like traffic court or something crazy, but he wasn't qualified to be there, and he damn sure wasn't qualified to bill 10 times more than the other people who were qualified. But for her, you had one job, sis. You could have hired the lead attorney. You could have hired a million other attorneys licensed in the beautiful state of Georgia, but you hired the guy who was.
Listen,
that's just it's unintelligent from her part. But I hold him more accountable because he should have been like, yo, bro, like that's how I knew. And I'll say this before when and leave it at that. I don't know what the successfulness of his practice was or his skill set as attorney as far as money, but for him to take this job is crazy. Because if that was me and I'm with Madam Prosecutor, if she said, hey, yeah, you should apply for this case, I'm immediately going to say, no, that looked crazy. I'm not doing it. The only way someone would likely consider that is if they're being offered a bag that's nowhere near a bag that they've ever gotten before in their legal career, in my opinion. So, hey, this hat is blue, but it's for them capping that party affiliation. Just so y'all go, I like to keep it impartial, but it looked like some malarkey to me.
Okay, and I say on this channel, when we comment in the comment section, what do you think? Do you agree with Marcus's point of view? I always say that, as you saw in the comment section, a lot of people did not agree with my position, and that's okay. As long as you're respectful, you can have your own opinion about this. Some people were even challenging the fact that I had an opinion about it on my channel. That's a whole nother story for another day, but I hear you. So let's see who's talking about in the comment section. Hey, Tracy Lewis. Hey, y'all, I'm not new. Hey, thanks for checking in. Tracy.
Stevie Wonder comment
was hilarious. Yeah, but they were going in on the comment section. Yvonne, hey Yvonne, Team Fani. Any black woman who can get their life is fine with me. Okay, so Yvonne is Team Fani. Brilliant attorneys are never ever perfect. Never. They are just good at hiding their secrets. That might be true. Yvonne says, I don't care if she was right or wrong. I just love how she had them flustered. I took notes from her about taking the stand. Okay, so Marcus presented his, thank you, Tracy and Yvonne, for commenting. And if you're just hopping in now, let me know where you're watching from. And if you're in the replay gang, say hi there. And make sure you hit the thumbs up before when you come in so that it pushes it out to the YouTube algorithm for both our channels, Debt Free Dad and TXC. My view of the trial and my reaction video last Sunday was really centered around the fact that, let's not forget who's on trial. Those 19 defendants, 4 of which whom have already pled guilty to this election fraud. That's who's on trial. And I was like, this is right now a sideshow, a distraction from the real issue. And I know as defense attorneys, you have to really pull anything out of your hat to say, like, to defend your client. And they took this route to try to invalidate the prosecution. And I guess that's what you have to do as an attorney, right? You have to figure out what ways. But at the end of the day, this case is not closed. The case is going to continue, right? Just because the judge ruled that one or the other had to step down, that doesn't mean that he dismissed the case that against these defendants, which is still election fraud. Now, as I mentioned before, this will probably prolong and delay the case going forward, because now they have to bring somebody else up to speed on what's going on because Nathan has stepped down. But it's still going to proceed, and hopefully before the elections, because as I mentioned before, Trump is trying to go for to pass a law that says that, you can't prosecute former presidents and things of that nature. He would have immunity. So they're trying to delay it until it gets to that point. And as from a legal perspective, I'm not going to say that they were not wrong for trying to figure out one way or another to defend their client. But like I said before, the issue is still the 19 defendants minus 4 who have basically been charged with election fraud, including our former President Trump. So let me go share, because we're talking, I want to share what happened for those of you who are not as familiar with the case yet. CNN article. Nope, that's the CNN write-up about it. And Marcus, feel free to jump in if you want. This is about the ruling that happened yesterday. Judge Scott McAfee is allowing Fulton County District Attorney Fani Willis to continue on the election subversion case against Donald Trump, but she was forced to lose Special Prosecutor Nathan Wade after an embarrassing 2 months that put Willis and Wade on trial themselves over their romantic relationship. It's a technical legal win for Willis, since she will have the option to continue, along with her full office, prosecuting Trump and 14 others. But McAfee's 23-page opinion was a scathing rebuke of the district attorney's actions, and it remains unclear if Trump will face the trial before November on his actions after the 2020 presidential election. So Willis survives, but the DA in her case are wounded. Basically, after they gave the option, Wade resigned hours after the decision. Why Willis wasn't disqualified? McAfee said questions remain about the timing of the relationship between Wade and Willis and the payments that Wade made when the pair took trips together. But he determined there wasn't conclusive proof of the allegations against them. Ultimately, dismissal of the indictment is not the appropriate remedy to adequately dissipate the financial cloud of impropriety and potential untruthfulness found here. He suggests the possibility of a gag order. McAfee wrote that Willis's comments at Atlanta area church in January about the case were legally improper. He also warned of the potential for a future gag order against Willis. During the speech earlier this year, Willis defended Wade, suggesting he was being targeted because he was a Black man. So, Black man, what do you think about that?
I mean, okay, some things do happen, but let's just put this in the context, okay? I completely agree with you and with that article. This has nothing to do with the underlying criminal issue. Okay, so let's let's compartmentalize things, because we convolute, and people tend to convolute things. We'll set that criminal stuff over there, because even if they kick both of them off, they probably would have just got a special prosecutor from another county, which should have been done in the first place to avoid this. But hey, that's just me. But they'll get a prosecutor no matter the outcome to move forward with that. So one issue I had with the judge, he said that there wasn't conclusive evidence, and I heard a lot of pundits on CNN, and they're confusing me with their legal analysis. They was like, yeah, because they couldn't prove it beyond a reasonable doubt. This isn't a criminal trial. This is just a hearing to see if there is something there that gives the appearance of impartiality. They're not trying to prove impartiality. And I can speak to this because I come from the IG community. It's your job to make sure things look above board. If it looks bad, it smells bad, even if it's not bad, it can put things in jeopardy. So both of them should have known better. And I agree with the comment. I think the judge took the soft way out. If the judge wanted to do something, if it were me, you know what I would have done? I would have specifically disqualified her and made her keep the person who she wanted. You keep Nathan Wade because I don't know how good he is at doing this in the first place. That should have been, if you're going to split the baby, you should have kept the guy who you wanted. You wanted him, we'll keep him. You need to go away. Good luck with this traffic attorney or whatever he was. He wasn't skilled at doing this. No, that's what the article said. They said that this dude is not experienced at doing this type of stuff.
Listen, we all have to have a chance that, like they always say, when you hire somebody, like, oh, you need more experience. How else are you going to get the more experience, Marcus?
What the hell? If you pardon my language, I don't know. I just saw an article where it said traffic court and small personal injury stuff.
He participated in the grand jury proceedings as well, so he was familiar. And he used to be a former prosecutor, I thought. So he had some basis, perhaps not a trial to this magnitude. No, but I don't think they would have.
It's the president of the United States.
Smarter than this to not put somebody who's totally unqualified on this job. I would like to think they're smarter than that. You don't think so?
I would like to think that they were smart enough to say, hey, we're going after a former president. They're going to utilize all of their resources. So we got to make sure that our bed doesn't have mess in it.
Right.
That's point number one. Point number two, this isn't the time in the trial for someone to be popping their cherry on a high high level felony case. It's just not the time. You know what?
I can agree with that. I can agree with that.
Some of them lower level YSL guys. Y'all got a lot of crime going on. Get some of Young Thug's underlings or something like that. But you can't cut your teeth on President Trump because it's just going to do exactly what it did. It made Nathan Wade look just like a goofy, in my opinion. I think he came out looking like a goofy. I think Willis came out looking a little bad, not as goofy as Wade, because I'm holding him a little bit more accountable because he should have been the one like, nah, boo, because I'm doing this, it's gonna look bad for me to take this tape, take this case. That's just me.
But supposedly this relationship did not start until after he had already been on the case. So are you disputing that part?
You think this relationship didn't start until after they look here? Okay,
listen. I was trying not to get in the weeds with them because I said, for real, the issue still is these people try to steal the election. I'm not even going to get into that. Yvonne says exactly. They didn't have nearly a third as much smoke for those January 6 folks who literally tried to tear apart the Capitol.
That's fine, but we can't. When your job is a prosecutor, your ultimate goal is to remain impartial. If let's say the exact same thing would have happened. But instead of him allegedly taking her on a trip because she reimbursed him, allegedly, but let's say the exact same thing happened, but instead of taking her on a trip, he said, you know what? Here's $5,000. I just got paid. Here's $5,000. That's essentially the same thing. It's just under the guise of a trip. Now, whether repayment or payment, we can argue it, but I just don't see, when we look at all the witnesses, Willis said that it started after. He said it started after. Someone who works in her office, who's known both of them, said it started before. I just can't.
Listen, that's not the issue, Marcus. The issue is the 19 defendants that are on trial for election subversion.
The issue, we're talking about this hearing. This hearing isn't about them. When the trial moves forward, we can talk about that because guilt to innocence and that is a completely different thing. We're just talking about, did you engage in conduct that makes it appear as if your office is impartial? I think the answer is yes. And why would this lady have to go up there and lie? Unless there's evidence. Unless they
she didn't like Fani, and this is her chance to stab her in the back.
Unless they presented evidence that this lady took a bribe, or if Fani would have got up there and said, oh, we fired her for poor performance, which wasn't done. If it was something to that effect, I would have been like, okay, I can see a little bit more scrutiny, but I ain't see one before. Y'all attorneys, y'all know how this game go. Y'all acted, they sat there and looked all shocked like, they looked at the phone records to triangulate that he was going to Fani's house at 3 a.m. Look here, counselor, if we work the case together, we gonna work that case hard, but I'm damn sure I ain't coming to your house at 3 a.m.
All right, let's pause right there. If you're just hopping in live, Marcus and I are sharing our opinions about the recent judge ruling about Fani Willis being able to continue the case, but Special Prosecutor Nathan Wade had to step down. And if you're looking now, I put on the screen the actual judge's ruling. If you're looking on your phone, turn your phone to the side. That helps you look at it a little easier. But this is order on defendant's motion to dismiss and disqualify the Fulton County District Attorney. And it says on January 8th, defendant Roman, this is one of the 14 defendants that's been charged, filed a motion to dismiss the indictment and disqualify Fulton County DA. 8 co-defendants later joined and supplemented the motion, raising additional grounds for disqualification. Among other allegations of disqualifying conduct, the defendants contend that the DA obtained a personal stake in the prosecution of this case by financially benefiting from her romantic relationship with Special DA Nathan Wade, whom she personally hired to lead the state's prosecution team. More specifically, defendant Roman alleges that DA and Special Assistant DA Wade traveled together on multiple vacations, with Wade covering many of the associated expenses. I'm going to skip down to what the conclusion was. The other alleged grounds for disqualification, including forensic misconduct, are denied. However, the established record now highlights a significant appearance of impropriety that infects the current structure of the prosecution team, an appearance that must be removed through the state's selection of one or two options. The defendant's motions are therefore granted in part. So this is what he gave them some options. He said that it wasn't clear in regards to, whether there was actual impropriety, but it was their appearance of it. So based on the appearance of it, they're going to make sure that it doesn't look that way to the public. I think that then one of the defendant's attorneys said, of course, he was going to appeal this ruling. Basically, this is a lot of delay tactics to make sure that the actual trial does not happen. Because like I said, at the root of it, this is still a trial, a criminal trial, right? And at the root of it, if you just keep delaying it, it gets them to a point where they perhaps can win in the long term. So what do you think about that, Marcus, in regards to the judge's ruling on that?
So again, like I say, I think the judge, he did exactly what someone who was scared and wanted to acquiesce and please both political parties would do. Let's just put that out there. He was like, he sat on this judgment. He had this judgment for a week. He sat on it. And so he did exactly. He split the baby right down the middle to keep everybody happy, because he ain't want no Trumpers at his front door, and he ain't want no smoke with the DNC, in my personal opinion.
What do you guys think? And the viewers, vote in your comment section, or if you're watching live, vote in the comment section. Do you agree with Marcus that the judge basically did a King Solomon and split the baby in half? Let me know what you think.
Exactly. But I think that I think how it really harms the criminal trial, because the criminal trial is moving forward. I don't care what Fani and this dude was doing. It really is irrelevant. Someone's going to prosecute this at some point in time. But now what we have here is the reason that, and I'm just say this, y'all, they two black attorneys. I feel like as a black attorney, I don't know about you, but like, if you do something that is wrong or appears wrong, you are going to get much higher level of scrutiny. So that means you got to make sure your ducks in a row. And so what this means is, even if they move forward with the criminal trial, whether it's guilt or evidence or guilt or innocence, no matter the outcome, now because of this, it's just going to be so hard. I just think it's going to be hard to find 12 jurors without one person who's, and even though this outcome shouldn't have any impact on the criminal aspect of it, that's not how Joe Citizen thinks when they're in the trial. Everybody, you can't block all the jurors from seeing this and establishing their own view of what they think. And they're just going to make it much more difficult for themselves to find 12 people without having one person in it who's going to look at this case and say, it was something sketch, and use that sketch conduct in this administrative matter and find a way to inappropriately and incorrectly apply it to the criminal matter. So they really going to shoot themselves in the foot. And I'm going to be shocked. I'm going to just tell y'all right now, my prediction is I don't see how they're going to get a conviction on that. I just don't think you can find 12 people in the state of Georgia without having one person to look at it and be like, I don't know. I would be shocked.
You think the jury pool has been has been tainted at this point, and there's no way to get a real fair. So that may be also the defense counsel's argument, right? To say that we can't get a fair trial and therefore this should be dismissed. Or in that case, like you said, we mentioned sometimes you take the trial outside of the initial area in which it happened to make sure that you can kind of get a different perspective and get a different pool of jurors.
Right.
So do you think that they probably will end up doing that because of this? And of course, that takes time to do that too, just to move it to
time. It takes time, but anybody, I mean, I ain't gonna say anybody with common sense, but the smarter approach would have been, okay, I'm a political appointee. I have the president that I'm prosecuting for conduct that happened in my county. To keep your hands clean, you have to bring in a special prosecutor from the outside. That way, and I don't know if y'all are familiar with Marilyn Mosby, black district attorney in Baltimore. When Freddie Gray case happened, he was like, I'm going after these cops. Hey, I get it. You're going after the cops. But you can't, as the Baltimore City prosecutor, go after the cops in your county because they stopped doing their job. Whether it was good or bad, they stopped doing their job. The right thing to do when you have these very unique, high-profile situations of conduct that occur in your county, you get an outside prosecutor to serve as special prosecutor. If Marilyn Mosby would have done that, she would have retained the police force to actually do their job because it's an outside prosecutor doing it. And I think that Fani would have benefited from going to outside counsel, having a special prosecutor and just getting somebody who wasn't. I think that would have made it all a little bit smarter.
Okay, so I agree that there was some mistakes made along the way, and I think she's trying to figure out how to. Despite what's happening with the mistakes that she made, they felt, because this is the grand jury found that it was enough for an indictment, right? There was enough evidence to say that these people were guilty of election tampering, right? So in that case, I think despite the mistakes that's been made along the way, hopefully she can salvage what's left of the case and whoever ends up prosecuting it. But it's kind of looking bleak right now. I would say that it was looking bleak, and so we'll see what ended up happening. But I wanted to hop on here with Marcus because I know that this has been a hot button topic. Check out Marcus. He did a reaction video to it initially, I think maybe 3 weeks ago.
She is tired.
I did one last week, last Sunday. So we try to keep you up to date with current events and how we feel about it. Obviously, these are always our opinions, and it doesn't necessarily be right. And it doesn't mean the judges are necessarily right, but they're the ones that have the final say. For real, the appellate judges have the final say, right? Because they can get, the trial judges can get appealed, right? We just offering our opinions from our personal viewpoints. Obviously, we're going to bring our own biases. Somebody mentioned that I'm biased. I probably am biased. I mean, I think everybody brings their own biases when they come to a particular topic, and I really wanted to kind of see what people thought about it. So comment in the comment section. Let me know what you think. Marcus, do you have any last parting words before we let the people go for the evening?
All right. Last parting words is, hey, look at things and be objective, okay? Everything isn't black and white or A or B. Just because inappropriate conduct could have potentially happened here has absolutely nothing to do with the trial aspect. We got to learn to compartmentalize things because it's just a way to get out. The media presents things in a convoluted way so that everything ties together. But now you have to separate things so you can really get a view of what's going on. There could have been inappropriate or non-inappropriate conduct here. Whatever that was has no outcome on the actual trial as it relates to, election tampering and all of that. So, hey, you got everybody out there got a brain. We got 2 ears. Listen more than you talk. And a lot of times you can maneuver your way through the BS.
Okay. Well, I appreciate Marcus joining today for the dual stream because I knew he would offer his own opinion. I had my own opinion of things. And like I said, as long as you're respectful, you can disagree with me. I mean, I don't have to agree with everybody. And as long as you present in a respectful manner, it's all good. So I appreciate you, Marcus, for being a good sport and offering your own personal opinion. Thank you, Tracy and Yvonne, for in the chat box on the live stream for offering your opinion. And for those of you who are on the replay gang, thanks for watching. Let me know where you're watching from. Yvonne said, last parting words. I want to know what resort that we were at in Aruba. It seemed this is what I guess, based on Fani's travels, they were talking about their luxurious travels, and I guess Aruba may be in one of them. So,
but she paid her boyfriend back for every trip.
What you say?
I said, but she paid her boyfriend back for every trip. That don't even sound plausible.
Yeah, she got into the reasons why she did that. But we won't go down that rabbit hole because, like I said, that ain't the issue. That's not the issue. The issue is those 19 people who tried to overturn the 2020 elections, and now two of them, which was attorneys, who admitted that they shouldn't have got involved in this. One was a bail bondsman, and I can't remember the fourth one. Marcus is here. I can't remember what the fourth one was, but these people have said, and they will be they will be testifying on the prosecution side in this matter. They've already pled guilty, and at this point, I think if this all didn't happen, I think that the conviction would have been inevitable. Now it's kind of a 50-50 chance in my view as far as the conviction rate because of all this other extraneous things that happened in regards to the trial that was not actually germane to the issue that was before the court. So
you gonna leave it there? You're not gonna say yes or no? I'm gonna say no. I'd be shocked. If it happens, I'd be shocked.
You'll be shocked. Okay, we'll see what happens. Hi, Lisa. Thanks for chiming in on the live stream. And we'll come back. I'm sure Marcus will be happy. We can do another dual stream when we figure out what's going on more. So we can do another live stream to present our own opinions on the matter. So thank you, Debt Free Dad Esquire, for coming on. And I guess you're a Debt Free Dad watchers. And you can also join us on TXT Tells All, the reverse. So if you're watching for Debt Free Dad's channel, check out TXT Tells All. And if you're a TXT Tells All crew, check out Debt Free Dad. We do similar lawyer reaction videos on trending topic. So thanks for joining us tonight on both channels.
Appreciate it.
All right. Thank you, guys.
Take care, family.